Good morning, y'all. We got fighting on the brain today. It all started with Sean O'Brien, who was a Teamster, and he was going after Mark Wayne Mullet from the great state of Oklahoma. It all started because he sent this tweet to Mullen. If you haven't read it, it basically said, Mullen pretends to be self-made, but in reality, he's just a clown. He's a fraud, always has been, always will be. Quit acting like a tough guy in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me, anyplace, anytime, hashtag little man syndrome. And then the people actually get surprised when Mullen accepts the challenge. Now, first off, I think we need to get something straight with all of us. There's a big difference between violence, which is sneaking up on somebody unknown and just beating the crap out of them, and just what we call down here in the South, duking it out. Okay, there's a big difference in those two, and violence is never okay. But let me ask y'all something. Whatever happened to liberals' favorite tagline? It's just two consenting adults. What's the big deal here? You know, there's an old Daniel Craig quote, and it's basically, he was sitting down and he's talking about people bullying his kid. Daniel Craig, of course, being James Bond for the last many years. He said, if your kid is bullying my kid, and my kid has tried to tell your kid to stop and your kid still doesn't, my kid has been instructed to punch your kid in the face. And that's the reason we tell our kids to fight back. It ain't because we want them to promote violence or anything. It's because backing down causes way more pain over long-term time than a black eye ever could. And I can hear the testosterone-deprived snowflakes crying right now. But buddy, these are United States senators and we need to hold them to like a really high standard. Letting them fight's barbaric. No, it ain't. Because to what standard in your imagination is a Teamster and a senator actually being held to? Most United States senators and Teamsters have a fuse about as long as your coworker Jimmy that drives a forklift. He literally runs on OSHA violations and cocaine. The only difference is these guys are wearing a suit. If you want to talk about barbaric, I'll tell you what barbaric is. It's the abuse we've passed down to our kids, that if they're supposed to be forced to take an unlimited amount of verbal and physical abuse and never fight back, that, my friends, is barbaric. Raising weak children creates depression and loser mentality. That is barbaric. But raising kids who develop the habit of pausing just for a second before they threaten somebody because they live in a society where retribution is actually possible, now that is a healthy society, y'all. All right, before we go any further, I do want to mention our sponsors, Allegiance Gold. I know you're watching inflation soar just like me, and I love how many of y'all are actually becoming first-time gold owners. With Allegiance Gold, you get to have no minimum and physically hold it in your hands, which was everything to me partnering with these guys. Now, don't think of it as something that's going to save you because neither are your guns or your food or your ammo, but guess what? It all helps. And you can even get $5,000 in free silver on a qualifying purchase right now. So go to protectwithbuddy.com or call 855-45-BUDDY. These are our kind of people. Protectwithbuddy.com. Now, raising kids to be able to fight back when they're getting bullied, that's the America I know and love. You know, there were 70 incidents of fighting already in the United States Congress. There's a pretty awesome precedent for it. And you remember the old Mike Tyson quote. He said, too many of y'all have gotten comfortable talking trash about each other on social media without getting punched in the mouth. You know, O'Brien called Mullen out. That's the part people need to remember. He got called out. Mullen was just accepting. And it's a good thing it stopped because it probably would have been an all-day country ass whooping, to be honest with you. O'Brien says, grow up, you're an embarrassment. Are you serious? Says the guy threatening people on Twitter. Says the guy hiding behind a keyboard. Here's the truth nobody wants to talk about. Our founding fathers had the same exact confrontations, except they were allowed to play it out. I really wish O'Brien would have been around in the days of Andrew Jackson. God, I'd love to have seen that. But like I said, y'all, two consenting adults. They want to duke it out. I say bravo, boys. Bravo. I'll get you some whiskey and an ice pack. Then we need to get back to work because we got a lot of business to take care of. God, I miss John Wayne. He'd have been totally in agreement of this video. I promise you that. Hope y'all have a great Thanksgiving. I will personally be up there with my family in Atlanta. Probably see a bunch of y'all around. I always do every single year. It's a fun time. And a lot of y'all were also looking for the episode that my wife and I did with Phil Robertson on the Unashamed podcast. Just YouTube Phil Robertson, Andy Griffith Show. That's the title of the show. And I think that's the name of the episode. The link is there. We had an amazing time. God bless y'all. Try not to fight with your liberal families on Thanksgiving. But don't back down from a fight either. Yeah, be good.